I was cut off by my whole family following a wrongful claim that I'd been intimate with my cousin's bride-to-be. Now, the facts have at last emerged. How on earth did my existence turn into this mess? Honestly, I still can't process it all. My relatives rejected me, pals abandoned me, and I'm even prohibited from my preferred bar. I promise I did nothing to merit this treatment. All right, let me begin by reminding you who I am. I'm Alex, and this is the nightmare tale that kicked off roughly 3 months back. I felt privileged to serve as a best man for my cousin, Ethan, who was tying the knot with Qley. Qley had been among my dearest companions since we were kids splashing in the water sprays. The big day came, and I was occupied guiding attendees to their places. All seemed fine until Ethan burst in, pulling a bunch of groomsmen and others behind him, all appearing upset. Ethan glared at me and snarled, "Alex." Before I could utter a word, wham. A fist connected right with my face, then wham, wham. A series of blows, folks. He was shouting as he struck me, "How dare you?" I've learned it all. The groomsmen intervened, eventually pulling him off me. I was stunned, my thoughts spinning, and I couldn't grasp the situation. What was happening? What had I supposedly done? They quickly escorted me from the area, leaving me with countless unanswered queries. The following destination was the medical center. My lip was puffy, my nose was dripping blood, and my left eye was turning purple and swollen. The physician fixed me up and inquired if I wished to file charges, but all I craved was understanding why Ethan had lost it. Dad messaged me. "The ceremony is canceled. You have until day's end to collect your items from the house." What the heck? I hadn't resided with my parents for months, but I still stored some things there. This message felt like an additional blow to the gut, and I raced straight to their place for some answers. Upon entering the home, my parents and siblings gazed at me like I was a felon. That's when I discovered I was being blamed for being involved with Qley, Ethan's intended spouse. What? I was floored. I denied it right away, but nobody paid attention. My brother tossed a sack with my possessions at my feet and ejected me. "Leave now. Never come back." I was totally bewildered, unsure of the source or reason. I tried reaching Ethan for clarification, but he'd blocked my number. Contacting any family member led to being screamed at or disconnected. I eventually chose to ring Qley. The first conversation was a disaster, with us both shouting and pointing fingers, but once we calmed, we realized something was amiss. We were both ensnared in a scheme, yet we didn't know who started it or the motive. To prevent escalating things, we vowed not to see each other face to face, and instead communicated via messages and emails to piece it together. Despite our efforts, we kept running into walls. Everyone thought we were involved in an affair, but when we demanded evidence, they stayed silent. When I finally connected with Ethan, he demanded proof that I hadn't been with Qley. I was astounded. My kin severed ties, associates distanced themselves, and even my go-to cafes and taverns declined to serve me. It emerged that Ethan had influences everywhere and wasn't hesitant to leverage them. After Ethan left her place, her relatives deserted her and buddies vanished. To add insult to injury, her colleagues were tormenting her at work. I couldn't endure it anymore, so I informed Qley I was departing this stagnant city. She concurred, and we resolved it was best to part ways and rebuild elsewhere. Flashback Friday, 5 years on. It's been 5 years since I had a real chat with my relatives. 5 years since my cousin Ethan's near marriage. At that time, I was charged with being intimate with Qley, his fiancée. Those claims were entirely invented, but who bothered? Ethan struck me publicly, the event was halted, and my whole family shunned me. Initially, I attempted to vindicate myself, pleading for trust, but soon I saw it was futile, so I abandoned it all and relocated. Qley endured the same ordeal. Her kin also accepted the fabrications and rejected her, so she too opted to restart, but in separate regions. The relentless charges and rumors wore me down, so I chose to sever all connections with folks from my former existence, except Qley. She was the sole person who truly comprehended my suffering. We stayed connected via online platforms and sporadic calls, but nothing more. For the last 3 years, I've been dating Olivia, a wonderful lady. I shared the entire saga about Qley and me with her, every agonizing part. Astonishingly, though they've never encountered each other, Olivia and Qley connect wonderfully. They even bond over the Hunger Games series. Every couple of weeks, they join a video call, enjoying drinks and treats, discussing literature and everyday matters. It's fantastic. Olivia and I are invited to Qley's nuptials next month, marking the first reunion with her in 5 years. I have major intentions too. I'm planning to pop the question to Olivia, not during the event or the journey. I don't wish to steal Qley's spotlight, but the idea of committing to Olivia intensifies daily. So why am I sharing this? Because last week an event occurred that rattled me deeply. A figure from history resurfaced. Latest development. That afternoon, Olivia was operating remotely. She does so often lately, avoiding the awful commute. Her position is quite adaptable. I'm not as lucky. Olivia reached out around midday. She usually messages when I'm working, so her call midday raised alarms. Her tone was shaky as she described the incident. After grabbing lunch at our beloved shawarma spot, she came back to find a note attached to the door. "We must discuss. I'll return this evening." Though unsigned, she assumed it was for me since my name was on it. The message frightened Olivia, so she secured all entrances and remained indoors all day. When she informed me, I asked for early departure from my job and sped home. We remained awake late that evening, anticipating the note's author, and though I felt it unnecessary, I stayed quiet when Olivia took a baseball bat and set it by the sofa. She was visibly anxious, and I didn't want to heighten it. But nobody appeared, and the night passed quietly. Over the next 2 days, zilch occurred, no odd messages, no surprise guests, just a weird, unsettling quiet. Then, on the third evening, the bell chimed, and I answered to find a guy there, appearing drained, like he hadn't rested in ages, with a subtle booze scent. "Hi, Alex," he started, his voice rough and recognizable. "Been a while." A chill raced through me upon hearing him. I identified the individual as Ethan. Truthfully, I didn't want to let Ethan inside. Our last exchange nearly involved him throwing a beer mug at me, so his sudden appearance didn't prompt hospitality. This is how our initial talk unfolded. "Ethan, aren't you going to let me enter?" "Me? No, that's not happening." "Ethan, fine, I suppose. I've come to say sorry. I now know the reality." "Me? I acknowledge your apology. Farewell." I was set to close the door, but he persisted. "Ethan, hold on. Won't you hear my side?" "Me? Not particularly. An account might have helped then before all my loved ones rejected me. But what's the point now?" "Ethan, valid point. But I still want to apologize to Qley. Could you share her details?" My reply: I could, but I won't. "Ethan, please, Alex, I only want to express regret to her." "Me? I'll inform her you're trying to reach her. If she wants to converse, she'll contact you herself, but stay clear of her." That was my final word, so I shut the door and stepped back. Through the barrier, I heard him shout, "Unblock your mom? She needs to talk to you." I didn't reply. Instead, I headed to the lounge where Olivia awaited. I recounted the recent events, and we concurred the priority was calling Qley. If anyone deserved to know about Ethan's return, it was her. Upon calling, Qley was shocked, and she clarified she didn't want Ethan getting her info, which I promised I'd never provide. It took days for me to decide on my mom. Eventually, I unblocked her number and sent a brief text. "Heard you want to chat?" Minutes later, my device vibrated with a call. I ignored it and texted. Texts only, no voice. She responded promptly. "Mom, we know you met Ethan. We want you home." "Me? I am home. Mom, you know my meaning. We aim to apologize and reintegrate you into the family." "Me? I accept the apology. I'm remaining here, your mom. We simply want to fix this." "Me? I'll consider it. Bye. I know it might seem harsh, but when those you cherish discard you like trash, it alters you. Currently, I'm not prepared to let my past disrupt the world I've built. Olivia, Qley, her partner, and I align on this. For now, we've chosen to leave the history behind. We'll revisit after Qley's nuptials, but presently no contact seems wisest. Ceremony atmosphere, reality revealed. Qley's marriage was wonderful. Occasion brimming with happiness and affection she truly earned, post all her trials. After deep talks, I chose to head back to my birthplace to confront my relatives. It wasn't simple, but I believed I required resolution somehow. I asked for Qley's folks and Ethan to join. I also spotted a known bridesmaid seated solo, seeming uncomfortable and distant. I couldn't figure her importance until the gathering later. At the gathering, my mom instantly attempted an embrace, but I softly halted her and maintained space. Before words were spoken, I pulled out my device, activated speaker, and tucked it in my pocket. "Qley's on the call," I announced. "She's hearing everything, but her audio is off. If she wants to contribute, she'll activate it. If she's done with this discussion, she'll end the call. It's her choice entirely." Qley's dad scowled. "Why isn't she present?" I stared him down and said, "Because she told me recently she doesn't feel secure after the events 5 years prior." "Can you fault her?" Ethan didn't merely hit me that day. He also struck Qley and denied her a chance to respond. Upon hearing, Ethan's complexion drained and a wave of worry spread, but they proceeded to explain the past. 2 years post-scandal, Ethan wed Megan, the bridesmaid I'd seen at the ceremony. Their union was unstable from the outset, filled with disputes. In one such clash about half a year ago, Megan erred and confessed she'd undermined Qley's bond with Ethan, something he'd heard echoes of during their marriage. Megan admitted she informed Ethan of Qley's supposed affair with me. She alleged witnessing it but offered no proof, and she'd fabricated it to split them. When Ethan presented this to the kin, all trusted him blindly. They figured he wouldn't sabotage his wedding without cause, and they accepted Megan's statement as truth. They never paused to consult me or Qley, nor offered us defense opportunities. With the facts now out, they sought to express regret, rectify matters, and re-invite us. I remained seated briefly, absorbing the info, then faced Megan. Clarify this. You desired Ethan so much you wrecked Qley's existence to remove her. You constructed your temporary joy on deceit, on deceiving trusted ones. Was I merely a side casualty? How does it feel realizing your foundation was others' suffering? Then I turned to Ethan. We matured side by side, man. Qley, you and I were like kin before official ties. But rather than confronting us, you swallowed her lies and shattered our worlds. How could you? Lastly, I spoke to Qley's parents and mine, to you all the identical query. You raised us. I thought you knew us well. But at the first allegation, you skipped basic dialogue. You didn't deem us worthy of rebuttal. You presumed the worst and cast us out. How? No one responded. They sat mute. After a prolonged silence, I went on. I now understand my position with you. You clarified it 5 years back that I wasn't valued. No outreach, no discussion. You defined my role, but it's not here. I can't decide for Qley. She'll choose her path forward. If she takes your regrets, she'll reach out. But don't expect it. For me, it's over. I'm heading to my real abode, which I forged after your abandonment. And though glad to know the truth at last, this could have been prevented with basic reasoning 5 years ago. Perhaps this will feel home-like still. I exited, reblocked their contacts, and called Qley to confirm she caught key points. We agreed this was the finale, and we'd avoid interaction with all parties. Next day, as I left town, closure washed over me. This marked my final visit here. My tomorrow awaited at home with Olivia. I possessed the ring, and it was time to propose marriage, proposal aspirations, fresh start. And thus, my existence flipped to a new chapter. Amid all the hurt and absence, I discovered genuine joy. I realized family isn't solely blood, but those who cherish and embrace you without conditions. I realized truth prevails, albeit delayed. And I realized regardless of life's hurdles, you can rise and craft a superior existence. Thanks for reading. If you haven't followed yet, please do and enable alerts for more astonishing true tales from life around you.